Commissioner Vanilla.
Here.
Commissioner Hightower.
Here.
Commissioner Webb.
Here.
Commissioner Goss.
Here.
And Mayor Butler.
Here. Any addition or correction to the minutes? If not, they will be approved. And bring them on.
Good.
Now, these are
Don't start skipping
Marion's
the meeting.
K-9 unit. And we have them here for special recognition. Okay, somebody tell us what happened. What's this all about, Chief?
Our K-9 unit went to Von Lake Kennels, which is where all these dogs were purchased from. They went at the beginning of August to the K-9 Olympics. Rob's dog here actually had to go for recertification anyway. So the other two dogs went up. They participated in the K-9 Olympics. It was also a team event with the three of them. And I'll let Francis tell you more about the competition and some of the awards they won.
Those of you who don't know me, I'm Sergeant Francis, Marion Police Dept. I've been here about 9 years. Our canine program was kind of being depleted at the time, and I got one of the dogs after work retired. We had one dog, had a lot of success with this one, and then the two followed. Since Chief Condine's been here, she's kind of built the canine program up. So the Canine Olympics is basically where we go to get our dogs at. It's Von Lake Kennels, it's up in northern Indiana. The White House, Pentagon, all the military. That's kind of where the dogs come from. The dog that went in was SEAL Team 6 that got Bin Laden. That's trained in the same place. So we went up there and we competed against 8 different countries. There's, I think, 122 teams that we competed against. Everybody's broken down into 3 people teams. Us three on the
He wants to talk.
You got one? Yeah. Us 3 were on a team together, though, and our combined team total, we ended up finishing 3rd overall out of 122 teams. We had a few individual awards. Officer Kramer actually got 3rd place overall in the door bottoms, which is basically in the hotel. There's narcotics sitting in each room. You go through and sniff the door bottoms. Loki, my dog, finished 1st overall in vehicle sniffs, and 3rd overall in general tracking. So that's really all there was to it, though, but we're pretty proud of it. We had never been before. We didn't really know how to expect to do. We didn't really know how to train for it. We just kind of did the best we could and went up there and ended up finishing 3rd. So overall, we're pretty proud of the dogs.
So what do you got planned for an encore next year?
Well, now that we know what we're doing, I think we can do better. It's just a simple fact. There's a lot of stuff that they run you through that you would never experience in real life. One of the scenarios is like you're in a field looking for a person. Well, in realistic, we're going to have people hidden behind bushes or trees or in ditches. And the scenario there was they had dug a hole, the guy was in the ground, but they also had holes with live chickens and dog food and all kinds of stuff to distract the dog. So you really have to trust your dog and kind of know what the behavior of the dog's doing at the time. So, I mean, overall, we're pretty proud of ourselves. We beat a bunch of the Department of Defense guys. We beat some of the White House's dogs, some of the Pentagon's dogs. So, can't really be more proud of us.
Okay, now, a couple of things here. What are the names of the handlers? What's the name of the troops?
On the end here, we have Sergeant Francis with his dog Loki. We have Officer Baker with his dog Shea, and we have Officer Kramer with his dog Zara.
Well, good. Let's give them a little hand here. Now, we have some stuff here. Is this what you won?
Yeah, I have some individual plaques that we won, and then our team plaque, I think. Chief Condine's got
Yeah.
in there. Don, you want to show him?
Yeah, this is the 3rd place plaque that Officer Kramer got with Zara for narcotic door bottoms. And then they got a plaque for the 3rd place overall patrol team. This is Loki's 3rd place plaque for tracking. And then this is Loki's 1st place plaque for narcotic vehicle experience. So, like you said, I was very proud of him, considering it's the 1st year we've ever tried anything like this. And, you know, these guys work hard with the dogs all year long, so this is kind of a reward for them to get to do something with the dogs and see how well they're trained, which obviously ours are pretty well trained.
Very good. You certainly have our congratulations and our commendation for the work that you're doing. And from time to time, I know that these fellas find stuff in cars and wherever else.
Yeah, we use them a lot every night, looking for people and missing children. And Commissioner Ranella was down there when we had actually a training day. We had a kid go missing, and we have 12 dogs show up in a matter of 20 minutes.
Yes.
And we had 12 dogs in the area there to help. So we have a pretty good relationship with the other communities that have canines that are locally. So
That's good. Well, we congratulate you, and we are certainly happy that you're with the City of Marion. We thank you. We thank you.
Terrence, he's sniffing you? Is he sniffing you?
yeah, Terrence loves them. He won't even get in the car.
I don't.
That's from his olden days.
Okay, now, let's see, where are we? Do we have somebody that needs to be heard here at the outset?
Ron, I think.
Oh, okay, Ron.
Things. Of course, Joe came just see just you. You gonna tell him?
Yeah, you know the drill. You've been here before.
Well, we like a small donation for our back-to-school party, which is September the 9th. It'll be our 33rd when we had this since we started. If you could
Okay, now,
give us something.
I see that you, back to school bash.
Mm-hmm.
Come and join us for a good time, food, games, fun, prizes, Jones Park, Saturday, September the 9th from 12 to 4 p.m. 3-point shooting contest. Now, I thought at first you were talking about firing pistols or something, but I assume it's basketball.
I hope not no pistols.
You guys have put this on quite, I mean, how many years does this make now?
This makes 33rd.
33rd? Oh, yeah.
That's fantastic, absolutely. Okay, what else you want to tell us about it?
Well, I didn't get on the agenda, but I wanted to inform you that we had wanted to present Anthony Franks as a member of the board. And the reason I came tonight is because your next meeting is on the 11th. And Boynton Street has a meeting on 11th, so I wouldn't be able to be here. But I wanted to see you face to face and just tell you that we need this young man. He has a good rapport with the younger folks in the community, and we need him on our board. And hopefully you'll approve that at your next meeting.
Well, I don't know now. Says here he's a certified master barber. What does Gabby think about this?
Well, I don't know, but this fellow's got a barber shop out there in the mall called Fades.
Oh, he has?
Yeah, him and his brother, yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Certified
Maybe you
master.
have to make an appointment. These guys, you can just go out there.
Oh, okay, well, boy, this is really something. And you really believe he can contribute to the operation of the board of the civic, of the Boynton Center, is
He's
that
doing
right?
things right now. He's had several days where he'll have basketball tournaments, and he's had some softball tournaments. He's doing well since he moved back here from Atlanta. And he has a good rapport with the young folks. With, you know, when you get a little older, you don't have the same rapport with them. So we need somebody that can kind of speak their language and get our message across for us.
I see. I notice here it says he was a Grammy-nominated songwriter in 2014. Does he write music?
He writes music, he sings, he's kind of a little bit of everything.
Boy.
He played sports over in Murfreesboro, football and basketball. But
Okay, anybody have any question or comment about?
I echo those sentiments. I mean, he has taken on an activist role in the community.
yes,
I commend him for that.
yeah. And as I said, we need someone on the board that can relate a little better with the young folks in our community.
Yeah. It sounds good. That's good.
Hopefully, he won't be the only one. We have another opening, and we hope to be able to fill that too with a young person.
Okay, this was not on the agenda.
I can wait until the next meeting. I don't, want
Yeah.
to be out of order
Yeah.
or anything. But
Oh, no, I think we'll put it on the agenda for the next meeting, and I think you can rest assured that your recommendation will be approved.
All right. Well, I thank you for your time and your attention, and if the council sees fit, we'd sure appreciate a donation for our back-to-school bash. Now, that has nothing to do with the
Oh, yeah, I wondered when we were going to get around to that.
That's the men of
Yes.
gents. It has nothing to do with the Boynton Street Center, other than the Boynton Street Center supports the back-to-school bash, but, we always can use a helping hand.
Well, have we given you a helping hand in the past?
Yes.
And how much of a helping hand?
Much was it?
A big helping hand.
$2?
Yeah.
Say $2?
$2.50.
Oh, 200.
Yeah.
It's not on agenda tonight.
I know it's not, but we're breaking territory here. We'll have it all on the
The problem
agenda for our
is
next
that
meeting.
the back-to-school bash is before your next meeting.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
You that falls under
250 last year.
Yeah.
That doesn't need council
250.
approval anyway.
250. Well,
Somebody can write that
any
off.
objection to the 250?
Is it coming out of public affairs?
Yeah, whose budget's coming out of,
Well,
Mayor?
sure, it have to come out of public. I don't care if it's on the agenda. It's a good cause.
Mayor,
We can approve it without our-
Donation budget has been completed for the year.
Okay, we'll refurbish it. We'll put more money in, so we'll take it out of the public affairs. Okay, what's your motion?
We can't,
I mean, we can.
we can't act on it. It's not on the agenda.
Well, so you don't have to even act on it.
Yeah, it's
You
just,
can write that off.
don't need
as
council action for that.
Commissioner, you want the street department to write it off, or just designate it?
That's what we'll do.
That's
Yeah,
all.
this is something that doesn't have to be voted on. We can simply write it off, so I just want to get the sense, so
I don't have a problem with it.
everybody okay?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
This way. James.
Okay, anybody else now? Okay, if not,
Minutes. I'm ready for
what do we got here?
Approve the minutes.
Well, we got the old business.
We need to approve the
Minutes.
Didn't we, I thought we'd taken care of the minutes.
Did we?
Yes, we did the
Sure.
minutes.
Really?
Did we do that?
We did.
Well,
Yes, we
yeah,
did.
I said, yeah.
Yeah.
One of us missed it.
Mayor and I were here.
Yeah, that's all that
All
counts.
right, hey, listen, if you're going to sit up here, you
had
got
a
to
silent
you
yes.
got to get with it. I mean, boy.
I'm telling you.
Oh, okay, to make you feel better, you move approval of the minutes,
Thank you.
and he
Yes.
seconds it.
Yes.
Call the roll.
Yeah.
Commissioner Vanella.
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Goss.
Yay.
And Mayor Butler.
Everybody's happy now. Okay. All right, let's get to the agenda. Let's skip old business for the time being. What's this about ordinance 3394? Has to do something with purchase of
Yeah, if you
police cars?
Yeah, if you recall last meeting, you guys took the bid of the U.S. Bank for the lowest bid to purchase the equipment listed on the ordinance here. And then the equipment purchase had already been approved too. And so this is an ordinance just making it legal for us to borrow the funds from U.S. Bank. That's all we're doing.
Okay, what's your pleasure?
I'll make the motion, adopt ordinance 3394.
Motion to approve 3394. Second, call roll.
Commissioner Manella,
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Goss.
Yay.
Mayor Butler.
Yay. Okay, what's this about variance for 816 West Prairie Street to intrude? What's intrude?
Okay, so we put up a privacy fence where our previous fence already was, and after we did that, shortly after we got notification that we were in violation of the code, that it had come too close to the intersection. So per code enforcement, we moved the fence, and then here a couple months ago, we were asked to move it again. So what I would like to petition is that we're allowed to keep the fence where it is per the previous code enforcement requirement. I mean, we did exactly what they asked us to do, and now they're asking us to move it
I
again.
see, we don't have anybody here from code enforcement.
So we were here last Monday, and we met with the code enforcement members.
Is that what
We
that's
had
about?
2 votes for yes, leave it how it is, and 1 vote for no.
My main question would be, is there any sight distance problems because of the
No.
fence? So traffic can,
Yeah, absolutely. You can see no problem. And it's a secondary road, it has a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit, I believe,
And they're on-
also.
he's got it.
Previously, there was a 30-foot tree there, and that didn't grow overnight, so, I mean, there's no change in view on that intersection.
So the fence doesn't block the view of oncoming traffic where someone had an
Correct.
accident, you're telling me?
We actually did it exactly how code enforcement asked us to previously.
Okay, you prepared this, did you?
Yes, sir.
And did you spend the $455 previously, or did you just move it yourself?
No, I spent the money, and then personally, then I moved my landscaping afterwards, so it would result in me having to move the landscaping yet again.
Okay,
I can't go against this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to allow the variance as the initial variance.
Well, no, wait, he's got 2 here, number 1 and number 2.
That's not his.
And he's saying at number 2, if number 1 is not acceptable.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, now let's look at the footage we've got here. We got 16 feet. Now what does that mean, 16 feet from what?
So basically, the fence went to the corner, straight to the corner. On the west side, I moved it in 16 feet or 2 posts. East, I moved it in 8 foot or 1 post. That is the current condition. That is what code enforcement asked me to do previously.
Okay, now has code enforcement seen this?
It was Mr. Feemister who would ask that previously.
Yeah, well, okay, but he's not here. What about current code enforcement people?
So we did meet with them last Monday.
They actually want you to move this fence 8 more feet, right?
They didn't make a proposal. That was the second option was my proposal if you didn't accept leaving it where it was.
Okay, well, for my part, I like the second proposal better because you're going 24 feet back from Copeland rather than the 16 that you have in number 1.
But in number 1, isn't that where they previously told you to move it?
Yes, sir, that is correct. So the current condition is per code enforcement request.
Yeah.
I mean, I did it exactly to the T of what was requested of me.
Okay, well,
But
that's what code enforcement asks you to do
Yes, sir.
yes.
at number 1.
Yes, sir.
16-foot back.
Yes, sir.
Have you been on Hill Street? It's like a 1-vehicle street.
Yeah.
Oh, it's very narrow.
Yeah, and I just, is there any visibility problems with number 1 looking?
No,
If I'm going,
North,
yeah, on Hill Street, and I come to the stop sign there at Copeland,
Yes, it's a one-way street.
Well, hold it, from Hill Street to Court Street is an alley, isn't it?
Yes,
A one-way alley?
it's a one-way alley for one block.
Wait a minute.
That's right, yeah.
Copeland Street's not an alley. It
Yes,
looks like it.
It is just for that one block.
Yeah, that's just
Yes,
a little
sir.
short.
From
Yes.
Court to Hill, it's a one-way alley, Mayor.
Okay.
And we're arguing about this?
Who's
arguing?
asked you to move
Well,
24?
apparently, we got some people.
No one
with codes
requested that. I just wanted to have a second option in
I
case
knew
the
this was
first
gonna
option was
happen.
not
Well,
acceptable.
you've gone to 16-foot according to code.
Yes, sir.
There's no question, nobody's questioned that.
No, we did that. No, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm not being clear. So we have already,
Let's end this.
Okay,
Let's end this. He made a motion.
Who made the
Have a
motion,
motion.
Anthony?
Johnny
John.
did.
Johnny made the motion. Angelo, to stay with number one.
Yeah, number one.
Motion made, who seconded?
Angelo,
Call the roll.
all right.
Commissioner Ranella,
yay.
Commissioner Hightower,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Goss,
Yay.
and Mayor Butler.
Yay.
Council, thank you very much.
Okay, what about the variance on Glendale Street? What's that about?
That's a different person.
Yeah, I know it's a different deal.
And that's the other piece, Anthony. It's this one.
Yes.
It's going from a fourplex to a fiveplex of one-bedroom units on Glendale. I'm building a fourplex next door to it now. And the zoning board didn't have no problem with it. I give them the drawing of it, how it's laid out, and there's 12 parking places.
Well, according to this, you need a variance from the 3,000 square feet requirement for a fiveplex. What is the 3,000 square feet? What does that cover?
I don't know what they're talking about there.
It's the, is it
Is
the
that the si-
density?
Well, is it the size of your
It
apartment
must
block
be the size of
complex?
the units, I don't know.
What,
The
how big
size
is each
of our-
individual unit, Gordon?
Is 18 by 36. The total building's 90 foot. The building beside it I'm building now is 134 feet.
Well, I don't know what the 3,000 square feet requirement is. I mean, what's it for?
Sir,
Yes.
I'm the actual owner of that property now.
Well, come over here and tell us about it.
I'm going to sell it to Gordon. My understanding was that the 3,000 square feet is they want so many square feet per unit.
For what?
Land.
So many square feet of land per unit when they build an apartment. And I don't know what the square feet is, but the 5 units doesn't meet the square feet code for each apartment.
How far
I may
off?
not be describing that right.
How far off are you?
Did you say each
Sir, I don't
apartment
know
was
on that.
18 by
Brian-
36?
Brian
18
Van Horn
by
said that you have to have so many square feet
648.
per unit, and it doesn't meet that so many square feet per unit.
They're one
And we asked
bedroom.
he asked for a variance to be able to
Yeah.
do that, and it was passed by the zoning board unanimously.
To make the variance? Yeah, they approved it. They approved the
Yep,
zoning
they
board.
approved it. It's an old house that needs to come down. It will be,
Yes,
Yeah, no
I
problem.
agree.
I'm building it tonight.
It will be an improvement to the neighborhood,
yes,
yes.
it'll be an improvement to the neighborhood. A new unit's going to be more taxes to the county, to the city, to the school board, whatever, because you're going to have a nice unit
And I
there.
pay enough for that.
And he's
do.
built, his apartments is on the other side of the alley. He's building a brand-new one to the south of me, and I believe he's purchased the property to the north of me, or is trying to purchase
I
the
bought
property
another-
north to build an apartment there, so it will make for a nice, neat area instead of a house that needs to come down.
And Gordon built some nice-looking
Yes.
apartments.
Yeah, if you ever been, how many you got off State Street, Gordon?
On State Street,
Office, yeah,
50-something.
okay. And then you
I got
and then you
some-
develop the housing complex
Yeah,
off
I
of
just
Whitney.
bought another house.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, I put the Whitney Lane in, I
Yes.
put Park Place
It's-
Estates in, I put in
It's not like Gordon is new to the.
where the old
park
creamery place
business.
was, where the old creamery place was.
Yes.
I put in that road there and put in that subdivision for apartments there. There was one house making $368 a month, or $368 a year on taxes. I have 20 places in there, and they pay over $5,000 something a month on that same land that was getting
Yeah, well,
$360.
that's all very good, but you're asking for a variance from the 3,000 square feet requirement.
Yeah.
I don't know what the 3,000 square feet requirement is about.
Well,
I think it's the density.
here's the problem we got.
Are we wanting to put a building here that would be, the area to be covered would be 3,000 feet short of what it would be under the ordinance? Is that what we're talking about? I mean, I don't have a clue. I mean, you're wanting a variance of 3,000 square feet, but what does it pertain to?
They're saying, what, it's 600 and some square feet short?
I don't know what it is. but
An 18 by
8,000
36 is
divided
648
times
square
5
feet.
units, that's 600, that's basically 600 square feet per unit that they're saying that you need. Okay, 3,000 divided by, he wants putting 5 units on there,
Right.
600. So evidently, it's supposed to be a bigger number than that
But you've done
of land per each.
Did I hear you say the building code people have approved this variance?
Yeah,
Then
they
why-
approved it.
Well, then, if that's the
That's-
case, I
I make a
don't
motion.
understand it, but
I'll second
they've
it.
approved it, okay.
made a motion, we approve it.
made.
But here's the problem, guys, and don't tell me I didn't warn you about this. When we made those changes in that office, we now have nobody that has got control of that office and comes up here to these council meetings when code variances are brought before the council,
well, that-
and
That-
this has got to change.
Oh, yeah, that can be easily remedied. For instance, who put it on the agenda? Who put it on the agenda? Okay,
Well, the code office.
Kathy did.
Yeah,
okay.
well,
Whoever asked it to be on the agenda ought to be here to tell
They
us
should
about
be here
it.
to
Very
explain.
simple.
yeah, for,
Okay, well, we'll take care of that. All right.
yeah,
All right, you got a motion made
I'll second.
and a second. Call the roll.
Commissioner Vanella,
yay.
Commissioner Hightower.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Goss.
Yay.
And Mayor Butler.
Yay. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank you.
Good
Okay.
evening.
See you, Johnny.
Take care, Gordon.
All right, Chris, it's your turn.
Thank you, Council, Mayor. I've got for Hub Recreation Center, I've got 2 part-time hire recommendations this evening. First one being Chesney Allen for Child Watch, part-time Child Watch at $9 an hour, and part-time camp counselor for $9 an hour in that same department. And the second one is Blake Stowers for fitness attendant at $9 an hour, part-time as well.
Okay, that's your recommendation. What's your pleasure?
I'll make a motion, we approve the aforementioned personnel at the mentioned positions at salary specifications.
I'll second.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Vanella,
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Goss.
Yay.
And Mayor Butler.
Yay. Okay.
And B, I've got requesting council approval of job classification addition with the job description that I believe is attached in your packet. And this is not a new position. We have utilized this position in the past for a current staff person. This is an additional job classification for a current staff person within that same department, and that's for a sport program assistant for flag football at $12 an hour, and sport program assistant for tackle football for $12 an hour to assist our current sports coordinator, sports and rec coordinator, This actually would be retroactive pay for a couple shifts. It actually should read to August 19th, for a pay period beginning August 19th and not August 9th that you see there. So that is a correction on both of those items. That's to 8/19 retroactive pay for that rate per hour.
Would be my motion to accept these additional job descriptions with the mentioned raise in salary on the amended date of.
Second.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Vanella?
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower?
Yay.
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
Mayor Butler?
Yay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Good evening.
Okay, we have a request from the Housing Authority to appoint Monty Blue to complete the unexpired term of Larry Hughes, who passed away. Larry's term was scheduled to terminate December the 9th, 2018. So the appointment would be to that date. So what's your pleasure?
I make a motion, accept that.
Do you think we need to just flip a coin on him, or?
Larry,
Oh, no, I'm not.
they would keep it in the line of work, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll second that.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Vanella?
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower?
Yay.
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
And Mayor Butler?
Yay. Okay, we have to refund some tax money that we received in excess of what it should have been. Don't have the exact amount offhand, but we do have the money available, do we, Steve?
No.
For the
Well, yeah, we
refund?
got to take it out of savings. Yeah,
Well, we've got it.
we got it. Yeah.
Okay, that's all that matters.
Well, I make a motion to approve number 5.
I'll second that.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Vanella?
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower?
Yay.
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
Mayor Butler?
Yay. Okay, ordinance 3395 to vacate Wall Street development.
That is formerly the Wall Street development that's been kicked around, here for several years. But that was approved, and I don't remember when it was approved. It never moved forward. Dr. Reddy owns that now. Greg Holthouse, a real estate agent, is involved with him, and they believe they'd have trouble marketing it. So there's two parts that actually, the next meeting you might have it in your packet, a plat of subdividing that to basically bigger lots. So vacating it would give up the easements and road right-of-way and the lot lines that are shown, and I don't remember, it's probably in there too, how many smaller lots that is. They think they would have the ability to sell that if they basically made up 3 larger lots, and they would have an access, ingress, egress easement back to get to that, the middle lot there, and we would just extend water and sewer, or they would extend water and sewer up to get to that 3rd lot. So basically makes it, they would have in the covenants, the 3 lots would share responsibility for maintenance of the driveway back there, because it would just be an easement, it wouldn't be something we have to maintain. We would just have water and sewer from the main road there back to that lot. That's all we would, and we'd have easements for that. So that's the point of it. It's more of a, that sat there a long time whenever we approved it, and might have been 2008 maybe? Is that what it was? Okay. And they'd like to vacate that, and the next meeting we would actually then accept the plat of subdivision with the 3 lots, so.
Okay, any question or comment?
I see they changed the name from River to Wall Street. Did we originally,
That wasn't supposed
Yeah, the packet in there, the petition we put together, that's our fault, Commissioners. The packet there, we used a petition from another job, and we forgot to change the heading.
have we changed it in the ordinance?
That was just the title, wasn't it?
Just the title of it.
Okay.
That was on-
Alice has got the correct one that actually says Wall Street. Yeah, we had a petition
I
from
think
River,
there's one
and
on
we
your desk.
forgot to
with the
change the word
correct name.
document.
Yeah.
So, but the ordinance should be correct.
Okay, that being the case, what's your
that motion.
pleasure?
Second.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Vanella?
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower?
Yay.
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
And Mayor Butler?
Yay. Okay, ordinance 3396, First Amendment to TIF redevelopment agreement between the city and Melissa's Consignment Boutique and Stephen Glenn Smith Trust and Joanna Smith Trust. What's this about?
Okay, Melise Oakley with Melissa's Consignment on Main Street, has had a TIF agreement. They purchased some additional land, and it was purchased in conjunction with her parents. And so in order to file for reimbursement, we would like to amend the TIF agreement to add Melissa's Consignment Boutique and the Stephen Glenn Smith Trust and Jolena Smith Trust. This just makes it so that acquisition of property can be claimed in Melissa's TIF. And our TIF consultant said it was fine. It just added 2 names on. And it fit with her approved costs.
Yep. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Ranello?
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower?
Yay.
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
Mayor Butler?
Yay. Okay, proposed ordinance 3397, authorization execution tax increment district redevelopment agreement between the city and CCS Real Estate Holdings. What's this about?
As the council might remember, we started a new TIF called Meadowland Parkway, which is in the front of the Butler Industrial Park. And there are 2 basically large parcels of ground. One was a wooded area that will become, with CCS Real Estate Holdings, that's Dr. Craig Smith, who owns Pet Wellness Clinics, and he will be, so CCS Holdings as his holding company for the land. And he purchased land that will be, he'll be building a new pet clinic, he'll have a dog park, and also a kenneling area for boarding. And then he'll have additional land to develop and sell for hopefully light industry or other business properties.
Now, this is all in the industrial park.
No, it's not in the Butler Industrial, it's in front. It's
next to it.
Yes, we called it Meadowland Parkway because it borders Meadowland Parkway.
Oh, okay.
And it's north of the industrial park. And Glen Clarida Road is beside it.
It's
Glenn
next,
wrote it? We might have to look this over.
it's next to the Webb property there.
I know what.
Yes, and the Webb property is also in Meadowland Parkway.
Yeah.
So what this is his redevelopment agreement. When we first started, that was part of TIF 1. And in order to meet a lot of the infrastructure costs, because there's a lot of not only personal and private projections for costs, we'll have about $1.6 million of eligible costs for TIF, and he'll spend a lot more building the buildings on top of it. And the city will have some TIF eligible costs for water extension and sewer, and then he will eventually dedicate the roads back to the city once they're approved. Okay. So this is a 70-30 split, a $1.6 million cap on this TIF, and that would be, everything else is...
Last fall, he did a lot of clearing on this acreage, but then he stopped, and I didn't know if the project had been put on the shelf or what was happening.
He had to apply for an EPA permit for water and drainage areas and things, so that took quite a while for the company that was doing part of the design.
Okay.
I think he's about ready.
All right. What's your...
I approve, make a motion, approve 3397.
Need a second?
I second.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Ranello?
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower?
Yay.
Commissioner Webb?
Yay.
Commissioner Goss?
Yay.
Mayor Butler?
Yay. Okay, proposed ordinance 3398.
Okay, this is a redevelopment agreement in the hub TIF with Jellin Enterprises, which is Robert Jellin, a local business owner. He also built the Huddle House and is the owner of that. He purchased Miss Emily's and is going to make it Union Street Pub. And this would be a hub TIF agreement. He's going to do some rehab. I believe it has some outside, inside work it'll need to be done, and has $255,000 of eligible TIF expenses.
What's the address for this?
It's the
Cat house.
The cat house.
It's where Miss Emily's was.
Miss Emily's Cat House?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, why didn't you say so? I know where that is.
You've been there, haven't you?
Now it's great. It's on Union Street.
It's the old
Well, you don't say anything about it here. And
No, it has a new
Here's
name.
Relate to the old hit track.
Yeah, oh, sure, now
Yes.
that I know, yeah.
And so he has purchased the property and will be working on I think he's already doing some stuff on the
They've
inside.
already started the roof on it.
Yes.
Okay, what's your pleasure?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Ranella,
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Goss.
Yay.
And Mayor Butler.
Yay. Okay, old business, ordinance 3392, hotel tax amendment. What's that all about?
Well, the council considered this previously, and Mr. Green, our city attorney, can address that. But one of the questions on the hotel tax, this was to pick up the vacation rental houses as to make them subject to hotel tax for the short-term dwelling units. And there was a question that I believe Commissioner Goss and Mayor Butler both came up with on zoning. And in the ordinance the council passed previously that dealt with short-term rentals, which was ordinance 3386, the aspect of zoning was addressed in section 7 of that ordinance. And so we were discussing that we wouldn't have to put the zoning aspect back in with hotel rentals because it was already addressed under the short-term vacation dwelling units.
Now, having said that, what does that do to the rental in R1s?
Well, it would say that anyone that wanted to, would have to apply to the zoning board and have it approved by council after the zoning board's decision. So you'd have to make a written application if you were in an R1 and wanted to do a short-term vacation rental. You'd have to have certification of the document and discuss if it was in a R1 or R2 district, make application that would come not only to the zoning board, but then would have to be approved by council.
What happens if I...
To the surrounding landowners as well. So
Okay,
that
but...
they would have the opportunity to object to either the zoning board or to you.
At that time, we'd have to rezone.
Okay, now who's going to issue the permit for this?
If it's approved, then City Hall will issue it.
It would be like a hotel, it would be, they'd apply for a license
Right.
to have a short-term rental unit that would be done online.
So suppose I decide not to go through that procedure and I just say I'll rent my vacation bedroom.
That's what they're currently doing.
They would be in
Yeah,
violation.
okay, yeah, but suppose I don't comply with the ordinance, what happens?
Then they would be in violation. The city can bring an action against them to fine them up to $750 for them doing that.
Okay, do we have that in the ordinance?
Not in the hotel one, but yes, in the one you've already passed.
The previous one on short-term vacation rentals.
Why isn't it in the one we're working on?
Well, because this was a two-segment, this just amends the current ordinance on hotel tax.
Right. The one you're dealing with right now is just the levy of the tax that the city can receive.
Would that not require the zoning board to recommend rezoning? And we would have to approve a rezone?
The last ordinance that you've already adopted, yes, sir, you have to go through that process. The zoning board will make its recommendation. You guys would then it'll come before you.
Is that a recommendation to rezone?
No, to accept a special,
There could be a variance in the zoning that could get approved.
it'd be like having a business in a residential area that you would have to have approved, a special permit,
Special use permit.
special use permit.
The council will have to approve the rezone.
You're suggesting that each one of these come before the council?
Well, we, as of last record, we had 10 in the city.
Why doesn't the code enforcement people do that?
They're in violation of the zoning.
Well, if there was a violation, they are the ones that would probably...
Well, no. If I want to put in my vacation operation, don't I get a permit?
You would have to apply for a permit through the...
Okay, and to whom do I apply for the permit?
City clerk's office.
Okay.
But I think what John's saying is, if we know we have 10 known, why is our codes not notifying them in writing that they're in violation of this ordinance? And
Because
we already adopted one.
in July, when you adopted this ordinance, that to have people get licensed, the hotel tax was supposed to be amended at the same time, which has been tabled since, so that they would be licensed and also be subject to hotel tax.
Okay, upon passage of this tonight, though, then
Then we would start
we can
licensing.
move forward tomorrow morning, notifying them in writing that they are in violation of ordinance, what was that ordinance?
3386.
3386, and that
You
they,
don't have to say they're in violation, just tell them that they.
No, it would actually be new, because we would be notifying them as per the ordinance to
Notify
the
them
license.
they're
saying that-
required to have
yes,
their.
I understand that.
permits.
Hold on a minute. They're already in violation of our zoning by renting an R1, and they know it. Then why are they not enforcing that on them at present?
Well-
Why do we have to redo it?
You're not redoing the ordinance 3386, you're adding hotel tax that the units are subject to paying hotel tax.
I know, but they're still renting in an R1, Gail. My question is, they are presently renting in R1, and code knows about it, and they know they're in
Well, do they-
violation of our
do they?
zoning ordinance.
Well, I'm not sure if code knows all about it. You have to go
No,
through.
Ken.
But nonetheless, they
Ken
need,
haven't.
they need, yeah, I mean,
No, I used
They're on
10 as the
Airbnb.
example I told the council. I haven't told codes.
I know.
Because the council was
Well,
going to,
but Gail, they're on Airbnb.
yes.
And if
They know
these people are in tune with that down in codes, I agree with Commissioner Galt.
Well, and part of it
They
is,
should have
we can move
notified
forward on that.
they are in violation of the residential zoning of the City of Marion, and they need to cease and desist their operation.
Yeah, and we can notify them
Now, you
that.
can come and get by passage of an ordinance, you can now come and get a permit to
Mm-hmm.
continue your operation.
Right.
So are we essentially granting amnesty to them? Is that what you're saying? Or
Well, actually,
Oh, yeah.
what's that?
this had to be published. It was published, so it became effective July 10th. And then this ordinance came to the council for your approval, so we could do them in tandem, because then people could come up, apply for their license.
They're already-
They would have to have a life safety code investigation. If they're in an R1, they'd have to apply to the zoning board. And many of the units already had booked for the eclipse, but there are at least 10 that are still booking for other things.
Okay, where does all of this leave us?
Well, part of it would be, the ordinance before you is to amend the hotel tax, which Steve has.
This allows us to tax them the way we should tax them. That's the
Well,
only change.
we are expecting the owner of the vacation,
Well, I
whatever.
mean, it's definitely on the honor system.
Well, no. Well, we expect them to pay the
Well,
tax.
yes, that's the known ones, you're right. I agree with you there. Airbnb is known because they have went out on social media and, to express to whoever their property for rent. But,
And they make
somebody
their
else doesn't
payments.
do that.
They make their payments to Airbnb and a credit card
Yes.
form, the person renting. Or home alone,
Guys, I think we got to move on.
Home to home.
this. And then this gives us the authority to tell our codes people that, here's your list. These are the knowns. We need to notify them that, we have an ordinance, and to further continue your business would be in violation of this ordinance, and, you are subject to a penalty.
Yeah, well, we need to publicize this as much as possible.
We'll put it on the website, which is
Yeah,
how
well-
these people work.
I don't have a website, but
Well, but-
I've got a place I want to rent.
But this is how they rent, is over the computer. They rent over the internet.
And they're renting it
I
out.
rent mine.
That's why it's called-
I rent mine by word of mouth.
I will meet with codes, and I will tell them, the council's wishes is that we send them a specific letter with a copy of the ordinance and telling them we desire them to comply.
How many homes are we gonna have with fire retardant the walls, and though when they examine them, probably nobody, would you think, in residential houses? I don't very many of them pass an inspection if we do all this anyhow.
Well, here's the thing, and here's what you gotta understand, and I'm not speaking for the fire department or the life safety code, but,
I know.
Actually, the life safety code in the state of Illinois has no life safety requirements for 1 and 2 family dwellings.
Okay. So they don't have to worry about fire retardant?
The only thing I would think that they would have to worry about is supplying smoke detectors and carbon monoxide extinguishers, having 2 means of egress.
Okay, now, how do we tell them that this is required?
That's part of the life safety code, which the fire
I know,
department does.
but here I am, I'm fat, dumb, and sassy. I don't know anything about the life safety code, but I've got my bedroom I want to rent out as a vacation bed. Okay, so I rent it out, flag a guy down off the interstate. I say, hey, I got a bedroom for you tonight, come on in.
And he's gonna ask, do you have, under the state of Illinois, do you have proper smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors?
No, he's from Wisconsin, he doesn't care what we have here. Well, what I'm trying to say is that it is more complicated than you might think. And we're going at this about half-baked.
I don't think it's half-baked.
No, it's treated, I mean, we have rental inspections.
It's not even half-baked. Well,
I think
okay.
it is.
How do we explain, Steve, one more time, the dummy here, how do we explain that we have an existing ordinance, no renting in R1? It's a law.
Right.
And they're doing it now. Why do we not just enforce that and be done with this?
You can if that's what you want.
I don't want to do it.
We did pass an ordinance already authorizing vacation rentals.
You're going to have to rezone R1 in my book to get this done.
You can use a special use permit. You do not have to rezone.
No, you don't want to get into rezone. It's just special use.
Right.
Yeah.
On a case-by-case basis.
That's right.
Now, I don't know if we're going to have any particular requirements when we say, what have I got to do, just hang out my shelter, shingle, and say, hey, I've got a vacation bedroom here, come on in.
Well, no. You can say that if you want, but you would be in violation of the ordinance. You would be required to register what you are wanting to rent with the city.
Okay.
We would have our fire chief to determine whether or not it meets certain life, health, and safety codes. Our code enforcement would also inspect it, as we do every other rental home that is in the city of Marion.
The council approved the standards and the requirements in the previous ordinance on page 3.
Okay.
They shall be subject to inspection by staff members of the city's fire department and code enforcement department. They shall register and shall be entered the name of every guest, arrival and departure dates. The operator will have accessible phone numbers to the city's fire, police department, code enforcement department. The vacation rentals shall post in a conspicuous place the name and phone number of the operator's authorized agent. Then it talks about kitchen, how cleanliness, changing sheets. You've already adopted the ordinance that has the standards of care.
Okay.
So, I mean, we didn't make a copy of this because you'd already adopted it.
Now, it doesn't do any good for us to know this. The people who are going to have the unit,
They will have a copy of the ordinance.
okay. We make sure they've got it.
It'll be like our other places when we have an excavation permit. We give them a copy of the ordinance, which says, I mean, it's kind of like, here's what the council has adopted.
Yeah, somebody's wanting, tap fees, actually, when they come in codes and they're wanting to build something, we
We've got
we
a
talk about
list.
excavation, tap fees for water, sewer, and everything else, that it's all given to them at that time. So, I mean,
Okay.
but we're going to send this to these
Yeah.
folks.
So the ordinance that you're all questioning about is the one you've already approved and that's been posted and is a standard. The other one that is on tonight's motion is the one that Steve Green put together to just add short-term vacation rentals to hotel tax.
Yes,
That's what you're voting on tonight.
right.
Okay, now, where is that in the book?
It's under old business,
Yeah, it's under old business, but...
3392.
3392.
item A.
Item 8.
Item A. Oh, there's item A, okay. All right, now. Section 2A. Impose a privilege tax of 6% for each 24-hour period, or portion.
Steve could say what actually changed was,
Section 1 definitions, F defines what a vacation rental is. And Section 2A is the levy.
Yeah.
that's all you're choosing.
That's, I'm going to make sure. I believe that's the only thing.
Okay, the owner collects the tax and is to pay it over.
That means they'll have to go to the state of Illinois and get some tax forms to file, won't they?
I think
Won't
the
have
city
to?
clerk has them.
Huh?
I believe that we have the tax, we have the forms that they
They have
submit.
to, they have to
us, and they
submit it to
send
the
it-
Illinois. I'm saying they have to submit it to the state as tax.
No, the hotel tax come to the city on this.
But I don't think the state's got anything in that.
No. Steve,
It comes to the city.
hotel
Okay.
tax directly to the city, is that correct? Yeah.
It's collected by the hotel or the property owner, and then he turns that over to the city treasurer.
Do you have any specific forms for that? Okay. Yes.
Okay, and the return be due on or before the last calendar day of the calendar month succeeding the end of the monthly filing period. So they know when they're supposed to turn the money over.
That's just the same as the hotels.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, none of these people are going to be in the hotel business.
Well, they will be if they're renting out their sleeping rooms.
Well, they'll be in the vacation business. Okay. Now, now let's back up here. I'm looking in paragraph 9, penalties. Any person found guilty shall be fined as provided in section 141 of this code.
Section 141 is your general fines for violating the city code. It's up to $750.
No more than $750.
Yeah, you can't have a fine in excess of $750.
Okay. Well, man, it looks like we ought to be in business.
I'll make the motion to accept
Second.
ordinance 3392.
Is there a second?
Yes. Yeah.
I think that was the first, second simultaneously in history, I think.
Okay, call the roll.
Commissioner Vanella,
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Goss.
No,
And Mayor Butler.
Yay. Okay. Let's go back now to the old business. Ordinance 3393, liquor ordinance amendment. Okay, what's this about?
Well, actually, under the liquor ordinance that was proposed last time, there were some things that were brought, that were a part of that that should have been brought before the council, but through the debate kind of got left aside. And then those led into other things. Do you have that, Gail? I would know this, yeah, I know this by heart, I don't know why, as many times as I've looked over it. If you go to,
It adds a new license
You have a new license.
and a new definition on page
Yeah.
6.
oh yeah, okay, yeah, we look at section 3. If you look at section 3, actually, what this does is, you remember when we did the microbrewery? Yeah, we didn't.
It was a couple of years at least back.
We didn't add this to the ordinance. So actually, we're adding a section, is 6 the microbrewery?
Yes,
Okay.
because there's just one.
And then 7 is one that I wrote and showed you, which would allow a business who holds a liquor license with us already to buy an additional license, and I think that's in section 7.
That's under E subsection,
It's explained
G.
under section 4,
Page
item
6.
I,
Yes,
on page 6.
yes.
Okay, which class, which class are we talking about there? Oh,
7.
yeah, I know section 7, but what subparagraph?
Page 6, subsection I.
Yes. And it merely states, an establishment that is in possession of an existing license may, upon approval of the liquor commissioner, receive an additional license as defined in section 7 for the same location.
Okay, now,
That's it.
So why would they want additional license? I'm not
yeah, what are we talking about?
Okay.
Receive an additional license as defined in section 7.
Okay.
Okay.
Here it is. And they're here tonight, if they have to speak before you. And one of the other changes is just to amend the hours.
That's on
From-
page 8.
Yeah,
Where does it say that?
Page
that's
8.
on page 8. What that would do is, the only one that it affects right now is John Brown's to open up on Sunday. Everybody else can claim food sales of 50%, and they're open on Sunday. And you got Pookie's, we got, what's?
Martini Joe.
Martini Joe.
No, he's not.
cannot-
Just one board's.
No.
Just one more.
Yeah, just
Now they
one
sell
more.
food.
Union Pub and potentially the whatever the City Hall.
City Hall.
This is kind
City
of level
Hall.
playing field
Oh,
for you.
City Hall.
Yeah. So in a competitive world, he's left out. Now, what this license will allow him to do under Class 5 is merely sell beer or wine by the drink on Sunday. That's all he will be allowed to do, beer and wine only by the drink. Previously, they can't open because they don't sell food. And,
Yeah.
and then, you talked last council meeting about fairness, where I came up with 11,000 square feet and why that wasn't right for anybody else, and
Yeah.
this.
I have no problem with this, I think it's a fair deal, but my question is how many others are involved? Is there not some others like Martini Joe doesn't?
There's only, and John can contest it, I'm sure he can't wait to speak, but there's only Martini, Joe, and John really in the whole entire town. And
Yeah.
When I understood, John pays the same for a liquor license as the rest of the establishments all around him, but he has to close on Sunday, whereas everybody else.
Well, how about the Heartland out there, are they?
They're open.
They're open.
They're package
They're packaged liquor.
Don't they sell drinks?
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
The license that they have.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what's the difference in them selling both and John selling both?
There's, because he doesn't have that type, the definition of the license.
I know.
John's just got a license.
Yeah, case. We're going to talk about this.
This will be less complicated than the last case, I'm sure.
Oh, don't say that.
Well, we'll see. My entire line of thinking on this is that I'm one of just a couple of licenses in town who are not able to service my customer base on a Sunday simply because I don't have chicken wings or hot dogs or whatever like that available for sale the other 6 days of the week. I pay the same amount for a liquor license as Rentland Ballpark, Applebee's, all the places who have tens of thousands of dollars of income every day. I've got a 50-seat bar over here. People want to come and watch football on Sunday, baseball on Sunday, watch the races and all that. And I simply would like to service my customer base that I have for the last 10 years, just for the additional hours of, I think we were saying noon to 11 at night, and help me keep up with the competition that's coming downtown, which I wholeheartedly endorse. I'm very excited about everyone coming downtown. The more, the better, as far as I'm concerned. But if I get left in the dust because I don't serve hot dogs and hamburgers, then I lose some of my customer base who may continue to go to other places instead of coming to see me on a Friday night or a Saturday night because they become accustomed to going to the other places and make connections there, and I'm losing customers because of that. In a place as small as we are, if I were to generate even $500 on a Sunday, which would be probably, I would say in that
26 grand a year.
Yeah, that's a sizable amount of money for me in the grand scheme of things. So to me, and we've been here for 10 years now. We're celebrating 10 years at the end of this month. And I think everyone here pretty much knows me and knows we run a very clean establishment over there, and we haven't caused trouble. City's always been a great friend to us. I don't ask for much, but I'm asking for this. So if you could consider it, I would appreciate that.
Were you going to pay the extra $1,000?
$1,000 is awfully steep for an extra 52 days a year. I've got a 10-month license as I see it right now, not 12 months. Everybody else has a 12-month license. I got a 10-month license. I could meet you in the middle and say $500 when we used to do package for the $500.
I understand that. I don't think anybody have a problem with prorating it for the rest of this year.
Right.
Well, in fact, I think our ordinance provides the license issued after the 1st of July is a half-year fee.
Right.
Yeah.
But it would be an additional $1,000 then at the beginning of next year, would be my understanding.
Well, then you go back to the regular fee at the first of the liquor license year, which is February 1st.
So it would be my existing license of $1,500 plus an additional $1,000 on top, so $2,500 is what you're saying at the beginning of the year? Or am I misunderstanding?
Yes.
Yeah.
The additional license is $1,000.
So you're
Right.
paying $2,500.
I found it absorbent, but I'll...
What's the difference between Class G, Anthony? I'm being a teetotaler, I don't know about all this, you see, but I see there's a $2,000 payment on Class, on item G.
I see exactly where you're coming from.
Why would his not be 2,000 total instead of whatever you're saying he's doing there?
I'm not saying
It does sound pretty steep.
I'm not saying it can't be amended. I mean, if
I understand
if we
what
want,
you're
yeah. And I understand where you're coming from. The highest liquor license we got is $2,000.
Right.
And, you know,
He shouldn't
that's,
have to pay more than
Well, why would he have to pay the additional $1,000? What's that for?
Second
to allow him to open up on Sundays and sell beer and wine by the glass.
We can't do that on here first?
No.
First license?
No.
No, the way the license used to be set up was, when we first bought the bar, it was $1,000, and we were on-premise and package.
Yeah.
And then we realigned all the licenses, and mine went up $500, and I lost the privilege of selling package. So I paid $500 more to have less customer. So
Jim, it gets down to the sale of food.
Right. It's all about, do you sell food or not?
Yeah, it's, if he sold food and,
we just don't have room for it. It's just not in our business model.
We don't have food
So.
police in this town, but they do sell food or offer food for sale. All the other bars that are allowed to open on Sunday, of course, we know Applebee's and O'Charlie's and things like that are. Is just one more even open on Sunday? Or?
Yes, they are.
They are, yeah, but they have a cafe, or they have a grill. You can buy food there.
And bear nuts and pretzels don't count as food.
We used to call it Slim Jims and potato chips were a steak and potatoes, but they didn't qualify.
Just checking.
So anyway, that's why I wrote this additional license in fair competition to allow him to open. And like Terrence said, we're only talking about 2 people.
So only 2 people will buy.
John, yeah.
Right.
We're just talking about John's and Martini Joe's. But under our existing license, because they don't have the ability to sell food,
Right.
they're excluded from being open on Sunday. And that's why I wrote this additional license.
Well, can't we amend it down to a lower amount instead of 1,000?
Oh, sure, we can put any amount we want to in there.
Lower down to 500 sound equitable?
That would be more than free would be great.
That would, then
Of course.
and then that would,
No, I think that would be fair. That's the amount that I have.
easy,
Absolutely.
but that would make it no more than $2,000 like our highest liquor license.
That's my line of thinking, right?
Well, I can live with that, but I don't like the hours.
No.
Between the hours of 12 afternoon and 11 in the evening. Why in the world would you be open till?
Because of night football and night baseball on Sunday nights. They're both very popular events.
Yeah, and they run till 11 o'clock?
Yes, the late game starts at 8 o'clock, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you not up?
Competition staying open that late.
And everybody else is open till then too,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the request from Buffalo.
Well, wait a minute.
No.
Yes.
They're only open till then because of the ordinance the way it's written now.
That may be the case.
They're open from 1 to 10 right now.
It would be advantageous to me to stay open till 11 because
They're
of the
only allowed to
football
sell
games.
liquor between 1 and 10. They can stay open later.
Well, yeah, now
Make a last call.
we're getting there. You see,
I see.
it would seem to me that if a guy starts watching a ball game at 8 o'clock and he's wanting to drink, he doesn't need 3 hours to get inebriated.
Well, that may be it, but he may be sitting there simply having Coca-Colas and chips also.
Sure, okay, that's no problem. But you're not selling him any liquor.
Or you can binge drink as well, because if it's gonna close at 10 o'clock, and we know last call, we're gonna buy 5 pitchers
There you go, John.
before we do anything
Well,
else.
hey, look.
They are anyway.
Hang on, that was a request of Buffalo Wild Wings because that's what their other restaurants are from 11 a.m. when their doors open till 11 a.m.
11 a.m. is out. You're not going to open a tavern in this town while church is going on Sunday morning.
That's
Very simple.
And Mayor, that was expressed to him that was not going to happen. He would have to settle with noon or nothing, and he was fine with that.
Noon is fine with me. I have
And
no
he was
problem with
supposed to be here tonight, and whether or not, I don't know.
Well, it says 12 o'clock.
I feel a little bit about it, guys, that we're chipping away a little bit at the Sabbath day, and I'm not a Puritanist, but at what point do we say that we just throw it wide open all day Sunday? I think at 10 o'clock is there, I don't see any point in doing it. That's just my opinion. I don't like 11 o'clock. In fact, I don't like them open at noon. There's still a lot of churches in session at noon.
Well, that's why I say 12, not a bit earlier than 12,
Well, that's what the paper
regardless.
Yeah.
And that's in the ordinance
It
now.
says-
That's
Yeah,
in the
they-
ordinance.
12.
They've chipped away enough on Sunday. I'm not for doing it
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
But, I mean, that's,
Well, there's no problem. You can stay open as long as you want.
Sure.
Right,
It's just the sale.
right. Well, then you tell me what my last alcohol sales
Sale
could
got
be.
cut off at 8 o'clock. But you could still stay open.
If I was told, quite frankly, to be honest with you, that I had to close 8 o'clock, I wouldn't be open on Sunday. It would be that much,
It's still being unfair to some of the businesses.
yeah, it would be, I mean, again, to me,
No,
from-
I'm not suggesting that, I'm just saying it could be that way.
it could be, yes, yeah.
We're not just talking
But
about.
I have to look at it financially, and is it worth
Everybody.
is it worth my while to
They all got
pay all the
TVs
utilities and
that-
employees to be
that you
there?
can watch a football game on.
Right.
You know, everybody does. And we're amending it by 2 hours. And
Wait, 2 hours?
One,
1 hour early, 1 hour late.
1 hour earlier, 1 hour later.
Earlier, what,
You're
you
gonna
mean
open at
going
12.
back to 11?
No, it's 1 right
It's
now.
1 to 10
Oh,
now.
It's
I
one
like
right
that.
now.
I think that's good. People ought to go to church, then go to dinner, have a nice chicken dinner, and then go to John Brown's to watch the football game,
Wonder if they
which
wanna-
doesn't start till 8 o'clock. And so they're drinking.
first one
all
starts at
afternoon,
noon, yeah.
and by 8
First one starts at
They
noon.
don't care about a football game.
Kickoff is at noon.
Your problem is you're being logical.
Well, I have to look at it from a financial standpoint also. Is it worth my while to be
The
open?
only thing I was,
From-
and when I made these changes to this ordinance, is looking what other restaurants were, their open times,
Sure.
you know, they're open to these times, and, they're, if they close at 11, they're not gonna give somebody a beer to drink
Right.
at 10:59.
And we're strict about our last call rules, and we have
You know that as well as I
the
do.
clock on the wall.
They can be open as long as they want. It is the time for the sale of beer or other alcohol.
Right.
That's what you're concerned about. And quite frankly, I don't.
And the thing, and what you got to understand, I guess, if you look at these other competitors under their license, they can sell anything they want to on a Sunday.
Right.
If I want to go in there and get out of church and
Yeah, because-
get a Bloody Mary because they sell food beyond a percentage of their business.
50% of their business has
50%.
to be derived from the
Yes.
sale of food.
That's right.
Okay.
He's not.
Their licenses sell till 10 or 11, I'm confused.
Everybody's 1 to 10 right now.
1 to 10?
So if they wanted to be able to do 11, they could buy this other
They
license?
want to be able, they would like the additional hours as well.
I can't believe that the additional hour from 10 to 11 is going to affect your business.
Yeah, I'm not as bent on that as I am noon, quite frankly, because the beginning of the football game, the beginning of football day is a
What
big,
time
is a
does the
big deal.
football game start
Noon,
Sunday
12
afternoon?
o'clock.
12
There's a
o'clock.
12 o'clock game, there's a 3:30 game, there's generally a 7:30 or 8:30 game.
Okay, so we can make it 12 to 10.
12 to 10, as long as I could close at 11, give everyone an hour to get everybody out, and me not serve any alcohol.
Close, that's
After
your
that,
business.
I could live with that. That'd be a
Sure.
good place
You
to
can,
start this
Stay
dance.
open all night, but you
Yeah.
can't sell all night.
Understand?
Okay, are you okay with the additional license that would allow him to open on Sunday, the Class 7?
I am.
Well, that's a tough. Like John says, we keep chipping away. There was a time when we had
John
no...
just said he's okay with that.
I think I could go back to 12, but most churches are out by 12, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
At 11 o'clock, I think that.
Oh, well, that's down.
That's-
Forget it.
that-
Forget it. That's
No,
not
what
going
I'm
to happen.
asking you is
No.
the Class 7 that would allow him to sell beer and wine by the glass upon the purchase of the additional license?
I've got no problem with that. I
Okay.
think that's
That's
fair.
what- okay.
Yeah.
That gives him
From
a
12
playing field. I think he
12
should
to
have.
10. From 12 to 10.
Okay.
Right, so alcohol sales done at 10.
Yeah, I
Right.
mean, you can sell soda pop,
I understand, yes.
snuff, or whatever else after that.
We don't do snuff.
You got the dogs coming here. You got
I know.
I mean,
Skull.
Well, there are a lot of things I don't like, but I accept the inevitable. So,
Well, no,
Nice.
we're going to,
you got to amend the
amount?
license fee, and you got to amend the closing time.
okay.
Yeah, I would cut that 1,000 to 500 and then amend this 10, 12 to 10.
12 to 10. It's my motion to approve ordinance 3393 as amended.
I'll second.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Vanella,
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Goss,
Yay.
and Mayor Butler.
Yay.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Easy. See, no sweat. Okay.
Can I pay some bills?
Yeah,
Anybody?
you gotta pay the bills.
I'm just wanting to see if there's anybody else got something. Okay, if not, what's your pleasure here, young man?
I make a motion to pay the monthly bills as funds become available.
Second.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Vanella,
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Goss,
Yay.
Mayor Butler.
Yay.
I make a motion to pay the consent agenda.
Second.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Vanella,
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower,
Yay.
Commissioner Webb,
Yay.
Commissioner Goss,
Yay.
Mayor Butler.
Yay. Anything else?
Go into executive session.
Are we? No, I don't have anything else,
Have
I'm sorry.
nothing?
Okay, Angelo, Jim, John,
Nothing.
Update on South Market?
The update is they're working every day. And they're now getting into the water lines. I think you know that, of course.
Yes.
That's what they're doing. And they are on the schedule. I think they will be doing the gutters and the sidewalks, I think the 15th of September. He set it back from the 5th to the 15th. So at that point, they'll start doing the sidewalk.
When you expect
They'll be
the first-
done by the 1st of October, they should be done.
So the first bricks will be around the 1st of October, probably?
No, they should be finished up by that time, according to Steve. Is that what you understand? Pretty close, to October 1st.
Weather
Weather
committee
committee.
now.
The bricks will be the easy
Yeah,
part.
now they're showing
Yeah.
this hurricane coming up as a tropical depression
Yeah.
and stopping in southern Illinois
Yeah,
Friday,
yeah,
and possibly up to 3 to 5 inches of rain, so
Yeah.
that'll
yep.
hinder progress.
Glenn, am I correct on his schedule? So are they still on schedule?
The gas company has got to change it. They've got 4 or 5 service lines they've got to lower. And I talked to the gas company this morning, they hope to have that done Thursday evening or noon Friday.
Yeah,
Okay, once that gets done, then the water line is screwed as big as 6-inch main in from College down to out.
yeah,
That's got to go first. Then he's got to get his service lines under the street there. We want those gas lines and service lines in and out of the way.
Sure.
But when it comes in with the stabilization, they go 12 inches deep.
sure.
And they don't want to hit the lines or anything. So we're probably looking for stabilization to take place sometime latter part of next week probably.
Yeah,
So is sewer in?
The sewer laterals are in, hooked up, and
ready to go.
we're good.
Their flushing's clean,
Downhill?
downhill.
Okay, now my question
It
is,
is on Friday, and the boss is SOB.
Yeah, you got it.
okay, now where are we going to be with the brick and the sidewalk, with the names and all that stuff?
Oh, boy.
Where are we?
They have 100 names, 100 bricks been sold at $100 a piece.
101 to be exact.
Okay, and then one more of that.
Yeah.
And they're going to be put in the sidewalk, to record the sidewalk down to the front of the houses. The homeowner, whoever's bought them, will say, I would like them to go here. People who bought them don't live on there. They have a specific place they want them to be put, they will go in there.
That's not going to be easy to do. The people that put the project, no, the people that put the project together are going to have to indicate where they want their bricks. Because we have no idea where they want them.
And that's up to.
So that's up to the people that put the project together as to label them where they want them. We can't do it. We don't know where they belong.
Yeah, I'm leery about having a third party engineering this brick business.
All they're going to do is lay the bricks out in front of the houses they want, and then we'll get them laid.
You probably have 30 to 40% of the people on the street that's bought bricks. The rest of them are from outside of South Market.
Yeah.
Well, Can anybody object to having a brick in front of their house, or is that city, since we're putting
Oh,
it in?
that's the city sidewalk.
We're gonna make every 50 feet, we're gonna have a line across the sidewalk with 5 bricks every 50 feet. And on those bricks will either be one inscribed bricks, or we got a couple that put 4 or 5 bricks with inscriptions on them.
Okay, now is this going to be on one side of the street or both sides?
Both sides.
It can be on both sides.
Okay, so you're going to have at least 100 names and you're going to have 50 feet between them, is that right?
That's the first time I've heard of that.
Well, that's what he's saying.
And that's what,
Oh, yeah, every 50 feet they're gonna have a line to go across. That's been all the way through, yeah. Yeah.
Are you going to have enough
See,
50
some
feet?
of these bricks are not 101. You got 3 of them that got 5 bricks apiece, so you've got an extra, 12 bricks there that are not going to be continuous. They'll be all on one row. I think Pepsi-Cola and Watermark and the Rotary Club has got 5 bricks across with their story on it.
you know,
Now, you understand that's not our project, that's the,
Yeah, but it's our sidewalk.
it's our sidewalks, yes.
Well, okay, it's your hands, I've got confidence in you, street commissioner.
Well, I'm laying that up on the man that sold all the bricks, and then we'll have him lay them
I
out where he
think
wants
he
them.
would be receptive to any suggestion that you give.
Yeah, he said he'd take one day off to do that, but it'd take, I think, more than one day to get he might get them all done in one day where he wants to put them. He'll have to find if 512 Market wanted a brick in front of their house, he's gonna have to find that 512 number and put it in front of that house.
and it's going to have to be done with the contractor, and the windows putting those in is not going to be wide open for a long time.
That's right.
It's gotta be fresh concrete, you gotta put the brick in, and if you wait 5 or 6 hours,
Can't do it. And
Okay, now who's going to coordinate this to make sure it works that way?
Steve Ash is very cooperative with everybody. He said he will work with it.
I volunteer Commissioner Goss.
Yeah. And we're gonna have to dig down on each one of these 50 feet. We're gonna have to dig down so the bricks will go down at even VOC.
I don't
It's
think
not easy
he
to
paid
do.
any attention to you.
I've heard the wind blow so much, it goes right all through.
All right, if there's nothing else, I believe a motion would be in order.
I'd love to make that motion.
I'll second it.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Vanella.
Yay.
Commissioner Hightower.
Yay.
Commissioner Webb.
Yay.
Commissioner Goss.
Yay.
And Mayor Butler.
Yay.
It's been heaven.
Kids, you did good.